Okay, so we have another instance of a referee getting into some problems with someone in the cage, this time at a UAE Warriors 12. The referee, Marc Goddard, the fighter was Ahamad Al Daramki. In the fight, Ahamad got the back, he went for the choke, and when his opponent tapped, Marc Goddard grabbed him and he refused to let go. He actively ignored Goddard's request to stop the fight. He refused to let go of the choke. He didn't do anything to listen. He kept choking. It was surreal to watch. Here's a quick clip of that fight from Kaposa on Twitter, at Grabaka Hitman. Check it out, obviously from the organization, UAE Warriors. Check it out real quick, just a quick clip. But yeah, it's gross. It's gross behavior.
Oh, it's over! Rear naked choke, ladies and gentlemen, Marc Goddard.
Whoa, what is happening here?
No, you don't do that.
He's going to make a big mistake messing with Marc Goddard. Wow.
At a scrum recently, Dana White spoke on this because he was asked about the Dan Hardy incident, and he went into this topic as well. Here's what Dana White said at his post-fight scrum about this incident.
I'm glad you asked me that question. Something went down last night in Abu Dhabi too, where Goddard got pushed. And if you're a fighter and you put your hands on or threaten any official, you will never ever fight here again. Period.
It was very, very bad. It was reminiscent of BJ Penn versus Jens Pulver, I think their second fight. BJ Penn refused to let go of the choke, and that's where these fights are similar, is BJ Penn refused to let go, the referee grabbed him, and he didn't stop. But here the weird part is, this isn't the losing fighter. Ahamad won the fight. So when Marc Goddard pulls him off, he's won the fight, and he starts to push Goddard. He attacks Goddard. He attacks the referee. For no reason. I mean, maybe there's some context with bad blood between him and the fighter. I don't know specifically. It doesn't matter. This is terribly unsportsmanlike. If this had just been, he held the choke too long, bad sportsmanship, fine him maybe. Like, you can do some things within the rules to punish him, but he can learn from it. We all know people can grow from that. BJ Penn became a legend. But the key part is here, he did a second part. There's a second part to this. He attacks the referee. He actively starts pushing him and trying to instigate some kind of fight. This could be considered like failing for steroids. This should get you banned for a significant amount of time. This is gross behavior. Attacking the referee is gross behavior. And the difference between this and what we talked about earlier in the week with Dan Hardy is Dan Hardy, his intent was not malicious. He didn't attack Herb Dean. He didn't attack the referee. He's not even a fighter. He just wanted to see less damage happen to a fighter. A lot of us can agree we want that. Maybe not the right way to go about it. We'll get into that later. The point here is the fighter attacked a referee. That's worse than cheating in my eyes in some ways. He assaulted someone that wasn't actively competing in the sport. Ahamad Al Daramki should get some kind of punishment after this. I'll probably get some hate from that. I don't know. I think it's pretty clear he needs to be punished for this. This is bad behavior. And I hope we don't see him in the UFC anytime soon because of that. So yeah, what do you think about this? What do you think about Ahamad Al Daramki's actions in the fight? What do you think of Dana White's comments? Should he be punished? In that same scrum, we need to talk about Dana speaking on Dan Hardy. He finally made a comment on Dan Hardy's actions in the cage with Herb Dean after the fight with Jai Herbert and Francisco Trinaldo, what many considered a late stoppage. Dan Hardy screamed and yelled at Herb Dean, etc. We all know this. Paul Felder even yelled. Here's what Dana had to say about that incident.
And I want to make this very clear. If you work for me and you approach a judge or a referee or any type of official, I will fire you. You will lose your job. You will never work for me again if you do that. Nobody has the right to, listen, you want to criticize judges, you want to criticize referees, you didn't agree with a decision or things like that. We love Dan, Dan got emotion. And the problem is now, with this setup, it's a lot easier to do, okay? It's a lot easier to interact with everybody, from the fighters to the refs to the media and everybody. If you work for me at any capacity and you approach a referee or judge or an official, I will fire you that night on the spot. That can never happen here ever again.
Have you spoken to Dan since that?
I'm speaking to him right now. I'm speaking to everybody. Don't ever do it ever again.
So my thoughts on this are, I agree. If you watch the other video we did earlier in the week, check it here. I totally agree with Dana White here. I mean, I don't think Dan Hardy had malicious intent at all. I think we need to look at that. The intent was clearly not malicious. Unprofessional, lots of arguments for that. We all get that. You shouldn't be doing that at all. I agree. The way the system's built currently, as I went into in the other video, it's rough. It's rough, but I think it's good that Dana White is setting a precedent here for people who work for the UFC, commentary teams, fighters, anyone, that you don't touch the ref, you don't do things like that to the ref. I mean, they could talk privately. I get he was worried in the moment, but going forward, I like that there's a precedent now. Dan Hardy shouldn't be punished in any serious way. It doesn't look like he will be, so that's a good thing, I personally think. Hopefully the UFC can learn from this. Hopefully all the teams around this, the commissions can learn from this, so we have better transparency about fights. Maybe there's some more fights that get overturned because of bad decisions. Like we mentioned in the last video, the Chas Skelly overturning that happened after 2 years by the CSAC. So hopefully this is a good pivot point, right? This is a point where we have a big incident, right? It's really loud. A lot of people get angry. It's controversial. But hopefully everyone can grow from this specific incident. That's what I'm hoping here. That everyone walks away okay. Jai Herbert turns out to be fine. Herb didn't do the worst thing in the world. Dan Hardy didn't have evil intent. And now going forward, they know the rules. They know if they step out of line. Hopefully refs, obviously they know it's a hard job, but hopefully there's some accountability when there is a mistake. More fights are overturned when there is an error, etc. So yeah, hopefully some good things come of this, and I'm glad Dana White spoke on it and set a precedent now. What do you think about it?